Hello everyone, welcome back to Roller Cottage. I finally sat down at my desk here. I don't normally sit down, but my new sewing setup means I've actually got a table where I can sit as well as one that I can stand at to catch up on my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery still life. So I have just put on my fruit, and I had waited to put the fruit on because I don't have a lot of room and I wanted to see what the next prompt was. And as expected, I needed to put one in front of the other. So pop my fruit on, and then the next prompt of some sort of porcelain item is this beautiful little little white teapot that I found on a little cake serving tray thing. So I'm actually just going to stitch this on with just quiet, not invisible, but quiet stitches until I have a think about what I want it to look like. My lemons are on, they're done, and I'm happy with those. I may or may not go back and do a little more stitching on those. So my thread's just knotted. But it's Monday, it's week 2 of the holidays. I'm trying very hard to get some holidays this week because last week was spent, cleaning up, what have you. We have got builders and assessors and all sorts of people coming in the next few days. So my room is set up, but there's nothing on the walls and there is nothing on the floor just yet. So I'm kind of just ignoring all of those things and moving on with my sewing. Because who knows, they're coming to assess, but that doesn't mean that they're going to actually start work for goodness knows how long. So I'm just going to keep on swimming over here. I'm stitching my little blue and white teapot, and I don't know that I will do that much to him because I like the white. The white contrast makes the little teapot stand out. It's a beautiful old textile. It's a little bit worse for wear, which is exactly how I like it. I think my handle actually disappears under the frame, but that's all right. It's just how it is. So I'm just going to stitch around the outline at the moment. I'm just going to make sure that I don't have any puckers. No puckers, please. You can see the little hole there. Just pin a bit all the way through, so I don't want a floppy teapot. I've been looking at lots and lots of posts of the Australasian Quilt Show. Congratulations to everyone who had work hanging. There were some fabulous quilts. Congratulations to Kate over at Kate in the Nest. Her garden quilt was just absolutely beautiful. So I'm so thrilled for her that she got to go and see her work hanging. And I will make sure I go and see the show when it comes to Vegas, so I can see her work in real life. But in the meantime, I have 500 projects on the go, and of course, because I cleaned up because I had to pack everything away and store it all, now that it's out of sight, I kind of think, oh, I want to do something else. But I'm going to finish Home is Where the Heart Is. That is the goal. She should have been done for Christmas. She wasn't done for Christmas. We know why. And I had planned to spend all of last week. Didn't happen. Doesn't matter. Moving on. I'm going to finish this part of my Roxy's, and then I'm going to dedicate whatever sewing time I have in the rest of my holidays to finishing Home is Where the Heart Is and stitching her all together. So sadly, I wasn't in time for this year's quilt show, but it's all about the making. The hanging is just a bonus. It's just so lovely to see that Kate also got a Guernsey for the Australasian Quilt Show. It's so good that some slow stitch work is being seen out there in the mainstream, and hopefully some people who find something or are somehow attracted to that or have a bit of an epiphany when they see it will join us and start adding some wonderful stitching to their life. Because I really do think that anybody can slow stitch. Not anyone can create a perfectly quilted, patchwork quilt with perfect points and precision measurements. I certainly can't. I don't have the skill. Or the beautiful hand quilted or machine quilted effects that you see. I can't do that, but anybody can do this. Trust me. Needle thread, straight stitch, off you go. There's no rules. And if you love it, it will work. Simple as that. I didn't actually see who the winner of the recycled and restyled was yet. It hasn't featured anywhere. I did find that a little bit frustrating with that particular quilt show because they don't necessarily, well, they don't only judge quilts in that category. So it's very hard to, compare apples and oranges in the form of what might be an upcycled shirt or a dress or a skirt with, a full size quilt. So I think a little bit of further, category expansion would probably help greatly there. Maybe they would do an upcycled clothing and then upcycled quilt. Because it's also one of the few shows where there is no professional or amateur categories. So a lot of the people who are, showing and winning are professional sewers, and their work's stunning and it's absolutely beautiful to go and see it. But if you are a beginner quilter, that's very daunting to have your work judged against, professionals. But I know it's a fairly new show. It's been very successful. It would just be nice to see it be a little bit more inclusive, I guess, particularly of amateurs and when judging certain categories. Okay, let's go. My little teapot is gorgeous. I hope I haven't stretched him. Have I stretched him? I got some lovely new needles, but with bigger eyes, but the eye is actually a little bit too big and my thread keeps falling out. They're such a joy to thread. It's so much easier. But I'm just going to suck it up and deal with it, I think. All the way back. This time last year we were in Castlemaine having a lovely time, Mum and I. How much can change in a year, hey? I would really like to go to the quilt show that's on in Sydney, the one that's on at Randwick Racecourse this year. To see if I can get myself sorted for the June, July holidays. There's a lot happening between now and then as well. There's a new bud coming, a couple of house moves, and not us, thankfully, but my children, and Mum moving on and learning to live on her own after we lost Dad in February. So lots and lots of change. Okay, this little teapot is stunning, and I love how he stands out. So I may not do very much to him at all. I don't want the blue willow pattern to get lost in against the busyness of everything else. I like how it kind of sticks out, pops out. So I'm just literally stitching inside the blue line. I'm going to run some stitches along here because again I just don't want it to be, floppy. No floppy pots. So I still have yet to finish my field guide journal. I think I've got 2 pages left in it. But I will do that. It's in my cupboard of works in progress, which I admittedly haven't opened, but I did move it to a new spot. So, that's something, perhaps. I'm going to go right up the middle here, again, just to stop any floppy bits and to ensure I haven't actually stretched that when I stitched it on. Again, I will just stick close to one of the blue lines just to help the thread kind of not completely disappear, but just be in the background. And tuck up here now. Work backwards along this next line of blue thread. It's kind of giving a nice little quilted look, which is nice. To the outside. And I am in the process of getting my husband to sand the top of my other table because it's so glary when I video. I do need the lights on because I'm under the house and it's a dungeon otherwise. Having said that, at the moment I have no walls, but you know, I still need the lights on. Okay, let's see how we're traveling with that. Now, nice. I might just do the same thing kind of up this middle bit here. Small stitches. Don't you love when the last pin comes out? So, what are you working on? What's inspired you? Have you been inspired by Kate's beautiful floral masterpiece? Have you been inspired by something else that you've seen at the quilt show, or something that you've seen online? I've been looking at a lot of the Japanese slow stitches and artists, you know, fabric and textile artists lately, and they just really do have such an amazing style. We were originally booked to be in Japan as we speak, but the arrival of new bub has meant that we cancel that for the time being, and then we'll go later. But I definitely look forward to getting to Japan and going to meet some of these amazing artists. Might be next year now. Let's have a little look. That's good. I'm just going to pop some up on the lid there, just because it looks like it needs some. Yeah. What do you think, here or there? I might go here. Outside, on the inside. Sometimes you do have to go all the way through, and this is one of those times. There's a lot of layers here. A lot of layers. Where am I? Okay. Good, I do need to do this little bit. So I didn't get away with one piece of thread, unfortunately. Yeah, I do need to just do that bit. So I'm using this very pale, fine kind of white, off-white thread that, you know, again, from an op shop. It's a good match for some of these white, old linen white pieces. Not quite white, not quite cream. I'm just going to follow this line here. So I've got the same thing. And then I'm going to see what it looks like in my beautiful old frame that I have for it. Any one in the middle? I don't think so. I might just do this lip as well, I think. It's asking for it, isn't it? So at the moment I have this ugly blue, ugly sort of grey mat as my background, but as soon as I have managed to have my table sanded, I'll go on to that, and everything just looks, it's much easier to see it, I think, against the dark timber background. I am very nearly done, except now I feel like I have to go and do the little knobby bit at the top here, look. All good. Now I'm nearly done. I think my lemons are okay for now. I don't necessarily want to add too much more stitching to them. How does that look? Good. Okay, I think I have to go on the inside here I done that bit? Yes. I do think, oh, I don't know. Let's try the handle on this side. I'm just going to scooch across to there. And even though you probably won't see all of this handle, I will know that it's not finished. Let's go through there. Suddenly when you get down to just 1 or 2 layers, it's so very easy. So when I was putting my Homes Where the Heart Is quilt back up on the wall, it was so lovely to have those panels all together. So after I finish this one, Homes Where the Heart Is, I'm actually going to make a book, but with big hand-stitched flow stitch panels. Once we find out Bub's gender, I'm going to make like a nursery rhyme book, but big. So maybe not as big as those, but not far off. Big and hands-on and full of texture and perfect for little people to just investigate. So that will be my next project. So that's motivating me to finish this project. That is how my brain works. It's hard when you're so full of motivation for a project and then you have to put it away like I did. It's hard to get that motivation back, but just having a massive cleanup of my room and also having to and hanging it back on the wall, yeah, made me very, very motivated again, which is good. It's hard when you lose your slow Joe, is what they call it. Mojo for sewing. It happens. Okay, how's that looking? Do I need stitching there? Yes, I do. Right. That's when I thought I was finished. Hey, let's go over here. And where it's quite thick is where I've made sure I go through, because that's where it tends to need that little bit of stitching to pull the shape in so that you can really see the actual pattern or the fabric or whatever it is that you've put. All right, I think this is actually stitch now. Let's turn it over, line off, and then we're going to get a frame. See, look at that mess on the back. There's some old-fashioned quilters and embroiders somewhere just being horrified. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. I might actually make you long. This is the new me. I'm putting things away as I go. Pop that away. I'm going to put it long ways because I think we'll be able to see more long ways. So I don't want to have to lift it up. So here's my frame. The glass isn't in it, it's just a frame. So this is going to go right over like that. Oh yeah, I love it. Obviously, fix it up a little bit. What do you think? I can't zoom out. Hold tight, I'm going to pull you up. Whoop. There we go, that's better. There we go. Yep, that looks great. Thanks for popping in.